Welcome to Lydia's Plate. I'm a stay-at-home mom who is homesteading together with my husband and 4 kids. We do gardening, house cleaning, all the homesteading stuff, baking bread, experimenting with gluten-free foods for one of our kids, animals, and the like. So if you like that kind of stuff, stay tuned and welcome to our channel. Hey guys, so this is my basement pantry and we try to keep it fairly organized so that we always know what's newer, what's older stuff. But throughout the year, as jars get carried back down and jars get carried up, it gets pretty messy. So seeing as I have been doing a lot of pickling, cucumber canning, it is time to make sure that we get this place all up to snuff. So come along with me. I hope you are energized and motivated to organize whatever space needs it at your place. Let's go. Hey guys, so welcome back to Lydia's Plate. So I'm Lydia and I am in our basement pantry here today. I want to get it all reorganized and ready to go for this season, as I said earlier. And so the first things first is, because I've started cucumber canning already, I need to sort the cucumbers from last year and get them out of the way. Right now they're all mixed together. It's easy to tell which are which because last year I did some spears. So I sliced the cucumbers lengthwise and quartered them and canned them that way. And I also did some chunk pickles. So I took a cucumber and I cut it in about 1-inch chunks and canned them that way. So I don't have any like that this year. They were not a big hit with my family, so I'm just doing the dills. And I also made what we call dill pickle chips. So they're sliced thin enough to go on burgers and everything, but they're in the same dill pickle brine as the rest of my dill pickles. And as I'm moving stuff around, I'm also wiping the shelves because they desperately need it. In the beginning here, it was very hard for me to decide where to start because it just felt like chaos all over the place. Lids everywhere, jars not in the right places. I didn't even know if all the lids on the jars were with the right jars. I found a manual for something in our house that was here before our house, I think possibly the furnace, and just random things. So I wasn't quite sure where to start at first, but I think now I'm starting to make progress. These are melamine, or melamine, however you want to say it, melamine shelves, and so dry erase marker works really well on them. With certain dry erase markers work better than others, or come off better than others. So you'll see somewhere along here one of the kids brings me a bottle of rubbing alcohol and that takes the dry erase marker off no problem. So up here I am moving the 2018 pizza sauce. I only have 4 or 5 jars left and I just want to move them over so that I can put the new stuff right beside. I'm also going to put all the jars there that the pizza sauce will get put in again for this year, so that when I ask the kids to go downstairs and get me jars, they will know exactly where to get them from, which ones I want, and I'll have the lids all matched up already that work. So you'll see me trying lids on jars many times over here. It's pretty easy for me to tell most of the time which jars go with which, because for pizza sauce, for example, I am using the jars that I know I got no name pizza sauce in from Superstore, or the Ragu pizza sauce. So this is the other side of the pantry that you're not going to see much. This is our storage for anything that we're not using regularly. All those pails there, those are from when we have done apple juice and gotten it all pressed into those pails. And with slaughtering, you never know what kind of pails you're going to need or what we're going to need. We often need ice cream pails to put lard into, or sometimes those larger pails from ice cream from like wholesale club. Those can be very handy too if you don't have enough ice cream pails. So I have all those lids. The sour cream containers and yogurt containers, both anywhere from the 500, 750 ml to the 1 liter. Those I use for pumpkin, and so I made the mistake once of throwing out too many, and then I didn't know where or what to put my goods into. So
I don't want to make that mistake again. As much as it annoys me to hang on to stuff I don't need, I also don't want to be short. So there we go. That's looking a lot better. Dehydrator up there. Lids are all cleaned up. Now we can get back to the jars. So as I was saying before we got interrupted, it's pretty easy to know which jars I want to use for pizza sauce because they're either the Ragu jars that I bought pizza sauce in when I hadn't started canning too much yet or didn't have a favorite recipe, didn't know much yet. Not that I know everything now, I'm just saying after 13 years I know a little more what we like and what we don't like and how much we need. So if I run out, I go to the store and I buy the Ragu or the no name, whatever's cheapest, and then I know when I'm making pizza sauce that, for example, that I need to be able to fill all those jars because that's how much we used. That makes it very easy for me. I have tried keeping track before as to how many batches I've done, and I still kind of have to do that too, but just knowing which jars I've used and getting them filled back up, that's pretty easy. There we go, so most of the pizza sauce jars are done, so now I'm going to come in here and find these pickled beans that have jars stashed all around them. Get the shelves wiped again, and the labels made accurate, and then we can keep on going. I am not canning any pickled beans this year because I did so many the one year. I think I did 25 of the large Cheese Whiz jars because I had so many beans and I had put so many large Ziploc bags of beans into the freezer already. I didn't know what to do with all the beans I was harvesting, and so I canned a whack load of them, and we're still eating on those. I don't remember what the year is. You'll see it somewhere along here yet. The year will be written on there when I do a close-up of the entire pantry when it's all cleaned. You'll see what year it is, but yeah, they've got to be a couple of years old already. So we're still working our way through those. So now that I have my main pizza sauce jars all out of the way, I'm just trying to find like jars and put them together. So like all the Cheese Whiz jars are going to go together. Somewhere along here I also have salsa jars, or jars that I know were from salsa from the store, and I'll set those all aside, and I'll even label the shelf salsa 2019 because I know that's going to be the next thing that I'm canning. All of those really big jars that you see on the bottom, those are, oh, what are those, like gallon jars, I believe, or 3.78 liter jars, something like that. Anyways, we have put apple juice in those in the past, and we're just not drinking as much juice as we used to, and the guy that was pressing the apple juice for us for a very competitive price, he has retired, and we're also just drinking less juice. So now I'm hoping, if finally everything comes together and we have a long enough growing season and everything goes well and we don't suddenly get some early frost or something, I am hoping to put ketchup in those big jars. So here we go, this is now where I'm putting the salsa jars. Now beside the salsa jars, I'm just putting some random jars that I had thought maybe I would use for smaller amount of salsa rather than the larger jar. But I ended up putting all the pickled peppers in there, so that won't be salsa now anymore. So now down here on the floor, I'm putting all my quart jars. I'm not sure exactly what will go in those yet. Those are just kind of backup for now. Yeah, the Cheese Whiz jars, the rubber on those lids often seal even better than the quart jars. So I kind of like reusing the Cheese Whiz jars sooner than the quart jars, but we'll see. I'm hoping to make a lot of tomato soup this year, and I don't know how many jars that will make yet. Now here I have a lot of odds and ends, just little jars. Some of them are filled with relish from last year and this year, and you'll see I don't want to mix those up, but I will reorganize them a little bit once I get all these empty jars in front of them out of the way first. These little odds and ends jars on the side, you know, I just never know when I'm gonna have just the right thing to go in there, so I like to keep them because sometimes those odd jars are perfect for jam or something that I want to give away and don't care if I don't get the jar back, or any number of things. Now those pint jars where I'm working right now, those I will not be moving. It does need a wipe on that shelf underneath all those jars, but I'm not going to move those today. I think I'll just wipe that as I start using those. I'm thinking of putting tomato soup in those jars, but if my math is right, a pint jar holds more than what your average can of tomato soup is. And the half pint jar is actually not quite enough. I believe that's only 8 ounces, whereas the can of soup is generally around 10 ounces if I'm right. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm kind of thinking maybe it just doesn't matter if I do a pint jar and a little extra soup goes into whatever casserole or whatever I'm making, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Alright, so I am pretty much done cleaning. Coming up here now is the grand tour of the final end product. Hope you enjoy. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that bell if you want to be notified every time we post a new video. And I hope you've been inspired to clean your space. Maybe you've been inspired to start canning, and that's great in my opinion. Good for you, way to go for it. Maybe you've gotten a new idea of something you had never thought of canning and now you'd like to. I know I don't nearly can everything under the sun that's possible to can, but these are the things that we use and we love. So I hope you've liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!